Hello and welcome to WhatKeepsYouAwake.tv. I'm your host, David Hooser, and my next guest, Dr. Paul Gilbert, is with us. We're going to talk a little bit about, as we mentioned earlier, he's an innovator, patent holder. We're going to talk a little bit about those patents, if you will, and a new project that's coming out of the existing and a new patent that looks promising, we'll say. No, you never say it's for sure until it's in the bag, but it sounds like it's on the way. So let's talk a little bit about it. What can you tell us? I know you're trying to raise a little money right now.
Yeah, we're starting to look around. So this started with a company called Right Biometrics,
Okay.
and it was a company that saw a problem with tubes that were supposed to go in the stomach, feeding tubes, and they were getting dropped in people's lungs. And then as I looked into it more, there were actually a lot of babies dying from premature babies have to be fed through a feeding tube.
Gotcha.
And they can't tell you or cough or gag when it's in their lungs. And they don't want to x-ray babies over and over again.
Right.
So we came up with my dad's a gastroenterologist, we came up with a way to use pH as a pH indicator. So you pull up the fluid from the end of the tube.
Gotcha.
It turns it a specific color, and it's called the RightSpot pH indicator. And now there is one being used every minute in the United States.
Congrats on that.
So,
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So it just tells, you can tell from the pH what organ you've actually
Stomach is the only place that produces stomach acid.
got it. Okay.
So we all know that when we get reflux. Right?
Yes, we do. Amen.
So the babies, really we discovered, and it was a study done at Banner University in their neonatal unit. We didn't know if babies produce stomach acid right away. And we had to show that even premature babies, within a day of life, they start producing stomach acid to protect them from, pathogens and bacteria and whatever.
Whatever's being passed on.
Yeah. And so we launched in 2013, and probably 2 years before, they came out with a recommendation to no longer use acid reducers in babies. Because they used to think reflux, babies are crying, we want them to stop crying, let's give them Zantac. They found out that was causing bacterial overgrowth in babies, necrotizing enterocolitis, and killing them.
Wow.
So really 2 years before we launched, this came out as a recommendation to no longer use it, which really opened up the door for a pH device.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be in the ER when you pump people's stomach and stuff like that, and it ended up in the neonatal unit.
Interesting.
So who would have?
Wow. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah. So we now the patents that we filed were initially on a pH indicator,
Okay.
but then we changed this more to a body fluid indicator,
Okay.
which would include plasma, blood, cerebrospinal fluid, urine, because we saw the same problems that they had with trying to check gastric aspirate pH, they were having with trying to check any body fluid and getting a lab test right away.
Wow. Okay.
Before you have to pull up the stomach fluid, squirt it on like a litmus paper, get body fluid everywhere, and then send it to the lab and wait 20 minutes to see if it works, and then it would change the pH while you're waiting. So these bedside tests I could see were a big thing. I mean, you needed it. Ease of use, giving clinicians immediate answer. So that's the direction we started going. The company that we sold the product to in 2019, which is great that we did in 2019, because COVID would have really hurt us because we couldn't go in and in-service any new hospitals. They put a clamp on it.
Got it.
University of Kentucky was our first big hospital, and that was in 2015, 16. We got in Cleveland Clinic and some other big ones, and it kind of just took off in the neonatal unit.
That's incredible. Great story.
Yeah, and we ended up selling in 2019 to our largest distributor, Clinical Tech Inc., and they've run with it. COVID did slow it down. Now they're continuing. They do give us money from the sales. And
so you have a kind of ongoing royalty.
An ongoing royalty, as well as when they sell to the big international player, we'll get a piece of that.
You get a piece of that. Okay.
Yeah. So, I wonder if I should have held on to it longer. I don't know, but with COVID, I don't think we would have made it.
It would have been a tough.
It would have been
time.
really tough,
Okay.
to survive. So we got the current owner who I assigned the patents to license back to me the ability to develop other tests
Okay.
or lab tests, or to utilize those patents outside of pH indicator
Of
for
what
stomach.
what they currently are
What they
supplying.
current, yeah.
Right.
So in 2020, we filed another patent, or I filed another patent, really on a blood test. Something that's really cool that's come out recently is it's called touch activated phlebotomy.
Okay.
So
Tell me more.
it's like a Tasso Inc. is probably the number one. Your BioHealth is another one. It's a device that suction cups onto your arm. You press a button and micro needles come down into your arm and will suck out 1 to 2 mLs of blood.
Okay.
No venipuncture, no going to a lab,
Huh.
right there at home. The problem is you got to send that blood into a lab 1 to 2 weeks. So these patents that gave us knowledge on the pH of that body fluid,
Okay.
we now are utilizing those to give you immediate results
Analysis, okay.
via lateral flow or ELISA right then and there. And then you have some leftover blood that you can do some tests with. So we think it'd be great for possible law enforcement or for biomarkers. When you're seeing a patient over telemedicine, it's a pain. You got to wait 2 weeks for labs to come back if they go and get it drawn.
Right.
Where if you can get some immediate test results, it can really help us decide how to treat certain diseases. Now, it's not gonna work for everything. It's not gonna give us a lipid panel,
Yeah. Right.
but it'll let us know certain things. Are they on drugs? Are they on? Do they have COVID? Do they have flu? Are they HIV positive? There's a bunch of little things that you can do, a bunch of tests that you can do right then and there that we find real interesting.
How do you get the feedback then? If the device is capturing the information, how does that communicate to you?
Just like a pregnancy test, when you drop urine and
Okay.
there's a line, that line will let you know if there's a presence of a certain protein.
Okay.
So that's a lateral flow test. So when the blood or the plasma hits that lateral flow, it will give you a control and then a plus minus.
Yep.
What's even more interesting is how dark that line is, lets you know how much of that protein is present.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's in optics. And you can do that via telemedicine. So you not only can say yes or no, you can also say how much of that protein,
Right.
which is big if you're looking at possible, heart attack, or
Sure.
is there a blood clot, or how pregnant are they?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's 2 weeks, or, are they 3 months pregnant,
Right.
which is a big deal. You
That's
want to
a
know
big
that.
deal.
So, it's a great way. So you put the lab in the home, basically.
So you self-administer, the patient does.
Mm-hmm.
They buy this kit or you ship it.
Yep.
You send it to their home. They actually
Mm-hmm.
administer it. They hit a button.
Yep.
It does all the work. I guess that's kind of like a, diabetes test, right? It's just a
Similar.
simple little,
Yeah, it's microneedles. They go in to draw
but
blood.
it's multiple needles that go in.
Smaller ones. It's the suction that really gets it to
That
pull
gets
out.
it out. Okay.
And they're Tasso Inc. We just partnered up with.
We did.
Yeah,
Okay.
that we've got a memorandum of understanding. They're a great company. They've really made some strides with the FDA in allowing this type of device in the United States. They're a Seattle-based company. And we want to partner with them and helping to bring lab tests to the home to be used over telemedicine.
So you're talking about big numbers here. We're not talking about a
Yeah.
couple here and there. This could be big.
Very big, yeah. So we're out looking at it.
So do you mind if I ask a few questions? I mean, what kind of, how much are you looking for? What are the uses of funds, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, to bring a class 2 device to market, it's about $3 million, and that's with clinical studies, $3 to $4 million. We're going to start off with 4 tests. One's going to be a pregnancy test. One's going to be a THC or
It's
marijuana.
about $3 million per test.
Yeah, so we're looking at about $12 million.
12 million.
12
with
million
all
right
4.
Now, I've already put in quite a bit of my own money. We have a prototyping lab. I've paid for all the patent development,
Sure.
all the legal work of getting those patents signed
Okay.
and licensed to us. So right now we're feeling good. I've hired a CFO and a CEO that are in the industry, in the laboratory industry and medical device industry.
Okay.
First time I did this, I tried to find a CEO and I couldn't find one that fit well. We tried one time and he didn't work out well.
Right.
So I think it's gonna. I'm excited. Yeah,
All right.
It's gonna be fun.
All right. Well, we'll put this out. Our audience is usually looking for funds themselves.
Yep.
But certainly it's a great story to hear how you've kind of re-established, the patents that you filed initially for one, product into the new product that you're bringing to market.
Right. You become an expert in a space, and then you keep going.
And the ideas keep coming.
Yeah, because you're there, and probably not a lot of people are there.
Okay.
So
right now it's and then the new company, is it a joint venture?
it's a C corp right now. It's a Statum DX.
Statum DX.
Statum is the Latin term for stat. Everybody says, "Give me the blood stat," right?
Yeah.
So it means right now or right away. So Statum DX gives you the diagnosis. DX is diagnosis.
Okay.
So right now, gets you the diagnosis so that we can decide how to treat you.
All right. And then, but you mentioned the partnership. So is Statum DX solely you and your?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tasso is not involved financially. They're just, we have a memorandum of understanding. We're going to profit share and kit the devices
Profit
together.
share kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the investment would go into Statum DX.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the lab test. It's not the blood drawing device.
It's not the blood.
No sense reinventing the wheel. That's already there.
It's already there.
But it just got there. So how are we going to use it?
Yeah.
Is the question. So
Yeah,
we want to
they
be the
gotta
first one to use it.
to have this opportunity in front of them. So it sounds good. Sounds promising.
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah, we're
Okay.
excited.
Well, good luck on that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for
right.
for doing this.
Well, that wraps up this episode of What Keeps You Awake.tv. Again, we appreciate Dr. Paul Gilbert joining us, longtime friend of mine. And we look forward to you guys catching us on a future episode. And remember to like, follow, or subscribe to What Keeps You Awake.tv.